Hey everybody, Dr. Amy here. Today I want to talk about something that we're experiencing in our culture. Now, this isn't necessarily to say this is a good or bad thing in this video necessarily, but what we're going to talk about are some challenges that are going to come with this cultural situation that we have, and that is wearing masks and what happens, or some challenges that are going to be happening with kids and with adults actually. Later, we're going to get into some other information on how this may affect learning, and also some things that we can do to improve our kids' ability to socialize and learn if they are going to have to be using masks and some of these other measures that may be coming in their future, potentially. So today I want to talk about some of the challenges that maybe not everybody has thought about when it comes to the population, or more of the population, both kids wearing masks and also them encountering more people, adults and peers, with masks. Now again, I'm not saying in this video that we're saying pro or against. We're just saying, what does this mean? What does this do to our children's ability to engage with and connect with and learn from their world? So parents, this is important. Doctors who work with kids, practitioners who work with kids, this is important because these are points of discussion that we need to be talking about. So first of all, the fact that we're wearing a mask and we're encountering more people where we can't see half their face, that's really potentially pretty challenging when it comes to, one, learning communication and appropriate social boundaries, learning appropriate socialization, because there's actually a lot that goes into communication and engaging with other people that's not just language driven. So there's a lot of nonverbal communication that happens from body language, gesturing, spatial relationship, and also reading facial expressions, and also tone of voice and that type of stuff. But we know that facial expression, learning facial expression, is actually a pretty important part of childhood development, early childhood development, and actually learning appropriate socialization, language development, and appropriate connection through early life. We need to be able to bring in, tie in, integrate what we're hearing, what we're feeling, what we're seeing in the form of gestures, facial expressions, distance between myself and another person. All of these things are really important to learn how to efficiently navigate our world. So when we mask somebody and we take away that ability to learn from their facial expressions, and we take that component out of our interpersonal connection and communication, that in itself can create some challenges in that trajectory of development because we're just taking a piece out of it. It also can be challenging for individuals who have already developed that. We as individuals, as adults, let's say, and kids who've already really developed that sense of reading facial expressions and tying that in with an important piece of understanding their world. When we take that away, we rely on looking at facial expressions and tying that into knowing the tone and connection and communication of that other person that I'm connected with. When we take that away, it makes it just a little more challenging to read the scenario, to read the language, the communication, and have an appropriate response. And so we have to understand that this in itself is going to create an increased or heightened stress response that may be really problematic for some people, may be just a little bit different and we can adapt to for some people, but it is there and it is real. So we're going to have to talk about what we can do about that to help individuals navigate that. The other thing I want to talk about is, just the fact that a lot of individuals, and especially individuals that are not quite there yet in development because of age or because they have neuro-deflective behaviors or disorders, behavioral learning, socialization challenges, have sensory challenges. Meaning when we put a new sensory input that on them, something that's creating a new sensory input, like putting a mask on the face, and we have this information, this tactile information around the ears and around the mouth, and now they have more heat around the mouth because it's not coming out. All of this stuff that's happening is increasing the demand of an individual to have to process this tactile information simultaneously while living their life in their world. Now, if they already have challenges with sensory processing, sensory integration, this may be a demand that is just too much and creates a stress response. It may just not be available for an individual to be able to function in their life in just a basic interpersonal way, in a connection way, just moving through their life, let alone in an academic way or a heightened socialization demand like school or interacting in their world when we put this on them, when we put this mask on them. So it's really important for us to just recognize that there's a little more to the story than just do we wear a mask or do we not. It really does, potentially, depending on the person, it impacts all of us, but it potentially greatly impacts an individual and a child's ability to engage, continue to learn on a healthy trajectory of development, to focus, to have appropriate emotional regulation, and just attend to our environment in an appropriate way, so an efficient way. I think these are really important aspects that need to be a part of the conversation, and we'll continue that conversation here. But practitioners, you need to be talking to your practice members about this so they can help, and parents as well, so that they can help have an understanding of why there may be an increased stressor for their child, why we may be seeing some challenges with behavior, learning, and socialization just because of some of the changes that we're having in our environment right now.